Okay, great. So great to have you all in this session. We're going to explore about how Dylan started up his company, what kind of challenges he faced, and some advice for people who want to start their own business in the near future. So great to have you, Dylan.
So glad to be here virtually. Great to
Yes.
see you again.
Yeah, great to see you again too. I'm sorry you're not here in real, but I'm sure you will get a lot of insights into what we're going to talk about today. So first, let me introduce Figma, just briefly before I go in to talk to Dylan. So Figma is a software development platform where teams can brainstorm, design, and build digital products together all in one place. And it was founded in 2012. It was the first design tool on the web, which made the design process more open, collaborative, and efficient, and set new standards on how and where software is created. And today, more than 2/3 of Figma users are non-designers, and the enterprises of all sizes use it, from Fujitsu to Microsoft, and they are using Figma to grow and transform digitally. And under Dylan's leadership, Figma has evolved to serve more parts of the product development process, most recently with the launch of Dev Mode, a dedicated space for developers to translate design into code. The company has attracted millions of users and hundreds of millions of dollars in capital investment, and awards too from Time Magazine, Bloomberg, Forbes, and Fast Company. Now, this company recently wrote that Field's view of where software is going carries the credibility of someone who saw the future a decade ago and built it. So, this is Dylan and Figma. So I want to talk to you a bit about how you have built your company. So first, you co-founded Figma with Evan Wallace, whom you met at Brown University. So tell us how the two of you came up with this basic idea for Figma.
Absolutely. And again, so glad to be here with you, even if it's virtual, which I was there in person, of course. Evan and I met at Brown. He was my TA for several classes, and he was the smartest guy I'd ever met. And I was lucky to have met a bunch of smart people and engineers at that point. And Evan it was clear he was beyond genius. And I thought if there's a chance to work with Evan, it made so much sense just to do that. I figured I would learn more from working with him than from anything else. And that ended up being beyond true. So we started Figma with a passion for WebGL and graphics and the web. And our idea and insight was that we could bring this graphical layer of WebGL to the browser, make it more collaborative, and bring people together around design. We saw that design was exploding, that more and more people were doing digital product design, and we realized there was a ton of opportunity there. By making it collaborative, especially, we can bring lots of people onto a digital infinite canvas. And that has been really the chapter one of our story. But since then, we've also expanded into ideation and brainstorming with FigJam, or to developers with Dev Mode. And like you said, we're really trying to go all the way from idea to design to code and production. So we can make it so that you can build products and have an idea come from your head and get it onto the screen as fast as possible.
So what are some of the needs and problems you saw in the market that led to you founding this design platform on the web?
Yeah, we were really excited about how much design was being valued around the world. We were seeing a shift as more consumer applications like Facebook or Gmail came out that had exceptional design. And I think with the rise of mobile, but also as servers went from all the way to the cloud, basically, and the emergence of the cloud from hosted servers, as we saw a transition from box software to app stores, all of these changes made it so that there's more efficiency in the process of creating and shipping software. And as there's more efficiency there, the amount of software was going up tremendously. Truly, as they put it in America, software was eating the world. And I think that is a trend that continues today. And as we saw more and more software get created, the differentiator was design. And we realized if there's a way for more people in the organization to contribute to the design process, that was a way we could help companies win.
So you founded this company in 2012, and hearing from you, it sounds so easy on how you came to here. Were there any challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome that?
Oh, so many. And I gave you the short version there.
Okay.
We could do the very long version too, but I don't know if we have time. But I mean, look, so many. First of all, not everyone believed in the collaborative model of Figma. Designers had this identity of, hey, I'm going to be in the corner. I'm going to, do my thing. I'll do a grand reveal. Everyone will love it. And we were coming around and saying, no, it's actually great to be collaborative and involve more people in your process instead. And so when we launched, some of the comments included remarks like, if this is the future of design, I'm changing careers. Another comment was, a camel is a horse designed by committee. And so we had to show people that there was really something to being collaborative. And it wasn't just for documents. It wasn't just for Google Sheets, but it was actually for all software, especially something like design. And then especially, it wasn't just the product reception. I mean, I definitely was not the best manager, not the best leader when I started Figma. I had been an intern before being CEO. Turns out you can just call yourself CEO. And so I had done that, but I didn't know all the skills. And so I had to learn them. And thankfully I had many mentors, but also folks that joined me as employees at Figma who I also learned from as well.
And so how did you, overcome that harsh critic that Figma faced first when you started up the company?
I think that what we had to do was we had to keep iterating, improving our product. I've always been inspired by the notion of continuous improvement, but also by the idea of really nurturing our community. And one thing that we did was we tried to be in close touch with that community of designers globally to learn from them what they needed in our product and then to improve it as fast as we could. And it took still years before we got to the point where it was clear it was working. But I think that feedback loop with the community was so helpful. And in particular, it's been amazing since the start to see the strong community we have in Japan. Very, very grateful for that, and excited now that we have an office in Japan as well. I think actually our lead of the Figma office, Hiro, is here with you today, and it's one of our most active chapters of Friends of Figma. We have about over 20 local Friends of Figma chapters, and Japan is one of the most active.
Yeah, you mentioned an office in Japan. It was the first office in the Asian region. What was the entrepreneurial decision in setting up office in Tokyo, the first in Asia?
I mean, one thing that I think the world knows about Japan is how strong a sense of design Japan has. And this is across everything, not just software. But it's always been inspiring to us as a company, that design culture that Japan leads with. And so it was a natural place for us to go as we started to expand our ambitions more towards Asia. But also, it wasn't just our first office in Asia, it was also the first language that we localized our product in other than English. And that was a big investment of time. It's not the typical thing people do. Usually, American companies try different languages first, but it was something that we really cared about, was making it so that we were able to meet our customers in Japan with a more localized experience, and that's why we did it.
That's a big decision. I mean, Japanese is very different from English. Why? What was the intention of doing that? I mean, Japan is just a small island. Only, the people in this island use that language.
Well, I mean, obviously Japan is not just an amazing place of design culture, but also an amazing economy, an amazing market. But I think also it's at an amazing inflection point because Japan is in the middle of rapid and systemic digital transformation. And as that digital transformation is happening, I see a lot of opportunity for Figma to help, or hope we can. And I think it's a perfect moment to enter the market and to be there for our customers.
Now, Figma is free for all US and Japanese students from kindergarten to 12th grade with the partnership with Google for Education. So what was behind that decision to open up Figma for all students?
Yeah, and university as well, boot camps. But we just made this call from the start of the company. I think it's literally in our launch blog post, if you go back and read it. From day one, we said we're going to be free for students. And coming from being a student myself before starting Figma, Evan was as well. I think both of us were familiar with that world and the fact that you don't have lots of money just to pay for software. And yet you are the future of the workforce. You're going to be driving decisions, and you're going to be influencing the organizations that you join as a student. And so we thought this is a great thing to invest in the students of the world, and that's why we made Figma free. And when we had the chance to partner with Chromebook by Google, we were so excited. And there's still so much to do there, but I really am very much looking forward to that partnership blooming and blossoming even more.
So what kind of role do you think this program will play, this education program will play in digital transformation?
Yeah, I mean, already through our partnership with Google for Education and Chromebook, over 35,000 students and educators are using our brainstorming tools, our design tools for free. And I think that being able to access that at no cost, that ends up really helping people understand if they want to go into design as a career. But also I think it can end up impacting the organizations that they join and the organizations that are in their communities as well.
So how important is design? If you learn design from kindergarten or when you're in elementary school, what would that do to the kids? I mean, their mindset, and how is design so important?
I think that there's a bunch of aspects to that. First of all, I believe that the design thinking process, the idea of diverging and then converging, of knowing that there's many ideas that you can weigh against each other and exploring that those possibilities, and then being able to objectively with the group collaborate, pick a direction to head. That is a skill that doesn't just apply to digital product design. It applies to everything that you might do in life and all the problem solving that you might encounter. That said, I also think that the world is really transforming from physical to digital. And with the world heading that direction and that overall way that we're seeing digital transformation in general, I think it's very important to make it so that there are more opportunities for people to get into design because it is a booming sector and one that I think more and more software will be dependent on the insights of designers and the people that are literate about design in the organization.
So design is getting more and more to the center of business.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, and so, you have been an entrepreneur since you were a student. So what kind of advice would you give to people who want to start business now and, create wonderful things?
Well, first of all, if you're not sure, just wait, because you will know when you're ready. You won't be able to think about anything else. You'll be obsessed. And maybe that's with a particular idea, maybe it's with the idea of starting something, but you will know if it's for you. And if it is, I first of all wish you all the best of luck. It's a very hard journey at times, but it's also a very thrilling and exciting journey. And I would say, first of all, just get started once you know. But second of all, make sure you have the time to really dive in and to make sure that you're able to see your idea through. If we had started Figma, and we did back in August of 2012, and 6 months in, if that's what we said, okay, we're gonna spend 6 months doing this, and if we don't have something in 6 months, then Evan will get a job, I'll go back to school because I didn't finish my education. That would have been perfectly rational, and I would not be here today. Really, it took years before we knew Figma was on the right track. And I think also if you're a perfectionist, you can oftentimes think that what you have is not ready, even if others people think it is. And so sometimes your bar might even be higher than those of your users or customers. So I think giving yourself the time is really, really important. And also I hope that, just to put it out there, I'm eager to meet more Japanese entrepreneurs. And so I hope that the next time I'm in Japan, I can connect with more of you, but also I'm sure my team will be eager to do that as well.
I'm just curious, how do you know this is it? What made you, go at it for 10 years or after 6 months? What was that tipping point? What was it that came to you that you knew that this was it, that you were going to seek a business with Figma?
6 months in, we didn't know the direction of the company yet, ironically. So we were still iterating, still searching. We knew we were excited about graphics and the web and collaboration. So different elements were there. We were putting the pieces together still, but we were also still searching and building and trying new things and prototyping. But at the end of the day, we were lucky to be supported financially by a fellowship program. I was very confident in our ability to go figure it out. And I think Evan was too. And we saw that there was so much opportunity. The question was, which one do we go after? And at some point, we realized that it was going to take a long time to build. And then we said, okay, let's go do it. And once we were on that path and we had that point of view of, okay, we see the strategy, we see the light in the tunnel, we just got to go through it, and we got to build for a long time. I think that then it was really just commitment to that point. But yeah, I think that in terms of how do you know, it's one part conviction, but I think there's also an element of judgment, and the judgment can be from yourself, it can be from others. But I will say the most interesting and out there ideas are often the ones that get rejected the most. And so if it's not obvious, you might be the one that has conviction, but others around you may not be able to share that yet. It might be that you have to, spend some time before they really see it.
So just follow your heart.
I mean, it's a cliche, but I think it's at least one part of it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. A lot of insight. I'm sure there were a lot of takeaways from Dylan's interview today. Thank you so much, Dylan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Great to see you all.
Great to see you. Thank you.